Best service in town. Going back to where it all began. Number 66, The Concierge. Welcome to Long Play Video. Welcome into Long Play Video, where we're going through my 100 films of all time. We're down to number 66 on the list. Always like the number 66. So I think it's basically everyone's code for quite a long time on everything. 1966, 1066.
It feels like it should be a bingo number. Is it a bingo number?
Well, I mean, it is a number, but
yeah. Yeah.
At 66, we have a film called The Concierge. That apparently weeks before release was changed to For Love or Money, because they thought that American audiences wouldn't understand what a concierge is, which I'm not sure is true. I'm fairly sure you get concierges in America. But we're going to refer to it.
I feel like they would have more than anywhere else. They'd have loads of hotels.
Yeah, well,
and they love their service as well,
as this film shows. So we're going to call it The Concierge throughout. But if you're watching along at home, then it's probably For Love or Money. But it is very difficult to get. So let me just pass you over the video, because we have a few copies. But this is the type of movie that you can only find in places, establishments such as Long Play Video. So the streaming giants, for whatever reason, don't want it. I don't think it's on any streaming services, certainly in the US and UK. So you have to come down to get Long Play Video.
Come down. Yeah, we'll get it on the projector and on you go. This is the kind of DVD you want. This is a classic. So this film, for anyone who doesn't actually know it, I mean, we should drop the big bomb that Michael J. Fox is in this. He finally makes an appearance in your top 100.
Right, so top 3 actors of all time for you, would you say?
Oh, it's a good one. I'd have to work on that list just to check, but he'd be up there. He is. I mean, it's a shame, obviously, with what happened to him, but because I think he would have continued even now and still be working now. He's, from the other side, I mean, an amazingly positive person, just absolutely incredible, and obviously so hardworking. I don't know if you've seen the documentary there about him on Apple, but just phenomenal, just incredible. But Michael J. Fox at his best in the 90s, and this is the kind of DVD cover you have. It's just him and a woman on the front, and he's in a concierge outfit, and that's it. That's the whole of the cover.
There's no quotes. There's no magazines telling you that it's good. It's just
you don't need anything. You're just like, it's got Michael J. Fox in. I'm going to see it. That's all you need to know. And then on the back it's pretty. Just they're like they've picked good scenes on the back of the photos. It's just sort of like, these are run of the mill. They're like, we're going to push it as far as we can and see if we make this as boring as possible, will people still rent it out because it's got Michael J. Fox in?
The answer to that was no.
Sadly. But so it says Douglas Ireland is in one heck of a bind. Classic. Michael J. Fox and Gabrielle Anwar star in this sparkling romantic comedy from the director of Men in Black and producer of Dr. Seuss' How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I mean, great pictures.
High bar.
Yeah, both of those amazing. While he caters to the whims of the super rich, Michael J. Fox dreams of building his own luxury hotel and hopes that a wealthy but unscrupulous investor will help. There's one condition. Ireland must, in brackets, babysit the investor's beautiful young mistress, which is Anwar. So I'm sure there'll be some questionable things coming up for that. But soon he must decide whether the love of his life is worth more than the dream of his life. Oh, we've all been there. In the grand tradition of classic comedies, this sophisticated and witty film puts a delightful new spin on love, laughter, and romance. So there we go. It's not really giving you much either. So who knows what this film's about?
I mean, I think you're saying Michael J. Fox and then in brackets TV's Spin City. You're like, is that where we know Michael J. Fox from? I'm not sure. Like even in 1993, I'm fairly sure Spin City isn't his number one.
No.
his #1 reference calling card.
Yeah, you would have said Back to the Future, surely, right?
Yeah.
That would have been your go-to. But so it's on the list. It's 67. So yeah, why
66.
Sorry, 66.
We
Yeah.
just covered that.
Yeah. 1966 or 1066. All of the 66s. Why is it on the list?
Yeah, so I think that I thought this was on Sky a lot at the time, when it kind of first came out. So I saw it a lot, and then I always kind of remembered it, and it did have quite an impact on me. Just from like the job point of view, and like seeing someone who was obviously just really good at their job, and Michael J. Fox, obviously very likable character, someone that you really sort of can identify with. I just really liked it as a kid, and then I couldn't find it. I'd always sort of search around for it. I think because I was looking for the Concierge, I could never kind of find it. And then I found it again, actually, when I started working at Amazon, because I think I used IMDb and put in the Concierge, and then it came up with For Love or Money, and then I could find the DVD. And it was at a time when I was going.
Paul would be so happy that his website has helped you out to find this amazing film.
He's helped we find this film. And then it was also, so I was traveling up to the US. So I bought it on a DVD in the US, and then picked it up from the US. Because I used to buy a lot of DVDs and books that weren't available over here. So and then just love the film. Think it's really funny. Michael J. Fox, for me, I never really identified with Back to the Future. And the trilogy,
because this is what I was going to ask you. So I was like, it's a funny Michael J. Fox film to pick. Like, a lot of people who aren't like hardcore fans like me might not have seen this Michael J. Fox film. So so I guess out of all the Michael J. Fox films, this is the one you've chosen. So what's the go with that?
I think I like, obviously Back to the Future was always on, and I do like it, and it's definitely a hallmark of the 80s, and that's our sort of childhood growing up, right? But at the same time, I don't think I identified with him as a character in it, because he's just very different to how I was, or like what I thought. Funnily enough, I mean, I think Teen Wolf
probably that's more your vibe.
I think that was really good. Although obviously
the basketball,
the basketball, and just sort of plucky underdog more. I don't know, with Back to the Future, I also think that it's difficult. Like his age is difficult in a lot of films. Like by Back to the Future,
he always looks young.
Sort of 2 or 3. Yeah, you're just kind of like, is he supposed to be like a grown-up, or is he supposed to be young? I don't know. It's a bit off. And then funnily enough, I would say it is the more obscure films that I like. I quite like The Hard Way, funnily enough. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. With James Woods?
Yeah. And then Doc Hollywood.
Keep testing me. I know them all. Yeah.
Doc Hollywood is quite funny, and actually
I like Doc Hollywood.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then obviously this is around the time where obviously the kind of the disease is coming up. So then after this he's much more sort of in the background. He's really good in American President, which I do really like that movie as well. It's like the guy's telling it straight, which obviously kind of I think goes into Spin City then on TV, which I really liked as well. But he obviously seems a really good guy, and I do really like his films. But just the Back to the Future, I don't know, they just never really hit with me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You were a big Star Wars fan, aren't you? So maybe you, because I didn't really get into. Maybe there's only room for like one sort of big trilogy when you're younger. I don't know. So
would Back to the Future be your trilogy? Would you put it at the
Yeah, I didn't see Star Wars when I was super young. I didn't see it in the cinema. I only saw it on TV.
Mm.
And obviously it's still incredible, but I think I would have been a bit older, so I wouldn't necessarily appreciated it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I understand people that saw that Star Wars in the cinema for the first time when it first came out. Obviously, it's going to be very hard for anyone to experience something like that again because it's just something so incredible and unique.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I think maybe
the first Star Wars came out 2 years before I was born, so let's not.
Yeah.
I didn't experience it like that as well.
Yeah.
But then even with Back to the Future, because I mean we're 10 when the second one comes out, so
yeah, exactly. But it's more of a you can watch it as a TV film, right? Whereas really Star Wars, you want to watch it in the cinema, like it's so much of a bigger film. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's
the only thing is Back to the
that's
Future 2 isn't great for me. I like the first one. I like the third one. I'm not a big fan of the second one, which is a shame because it has all the futuristic things, but I think the story just lets it down a bit.
Yeah, it's quite jumpy as well, isn't it?
It just doesn't hold together as well, I think. But
yeah, I mean, I definitely get what you guys. I mean, obviously the TVs back in the day as well. It was the difference between the cinema experience and the TV experience was slightly larger than the kids today probably recognize.
Yeah, they are easy. They've got it.
Yeah. But then, obviously Gabrielle Anwar as well. From that classic Scent of a Woman.
Scent of a Woman, great film.
Yeah, scene. And also, funnily enough, the Three Musketeers. That's actually the Three Musketeers with Oliver Platt and Michael Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland.
That one.
That's actually fun. I did watch that to maybe even put it on the top 100. It would have been lower than this. It's a very fun movie. With lots of good one-liners. But
is it a poor man's Three Amigos? I feel like it is.
I mean, I'm not sure that Three Amigos is a rich man's anything, but
no, but I still think that's a poor man's Three Amigos.
No, I think it is a buddy film. That's always where I think of Oliver Platt from because he's just so good in that. So it's just so fun. It's a really fun movie, but it doesn't really hold up as much now.
Not as good as The Concierge.
Chris O'Donnell, whatever happened to him. I mean, it has to be said for this film, the same writer as Jewel of the Nile, which I know is one of your very top films.
Yeah, it's a great film. I mean, honestly, I don't think there's going to be many better duos than Douglas and Turner. And then when you add in DeVito, it's the Holy Trinity. It's like Power Rangers for adults.
So that's the thing. Like as I say, I think there is a category of film almost. There's a couple more on the list where it's just someone almost sort of doing their job just to a really high quality. And it was quite impactful as a kid because I think I could kind of, because he's got that sort of boyishness, but he's clearly a grown up. I think that's in all of his films. It's that thing of like, he looks young, but he's obviously older, and that's why I think as a high schooler in Back to the Future, I'm just like, well, how old is he? I'm a bit confused.
You're always about the details, like
He just
doesn't. Details, man.
He just doesn't seem like a high schooler, especially by 2 and 3, which obviously were.
Well, he's aged a bit because he's been, he's been back to the past and to the future. Like, stuff's happened.
Well, they happen all concurrently, right? So he's not supposed to have aged, even though quite a few years have gone between them. So.
Yeah, and so he was in the documentary on Apple. So he's 31, I think, when he films this, and he was diagnosed with Parkinson's when he was 29. So he knew that he had Parkinson's then, but he hadn't told anyone else. And obviously, being diagnosed with Parkinson's at 29, especially in those days as well, God, it must have been awful to not know what to do and just think people wouldn't accept it. And so what he says in the documentary is that I think it's his left hand. He used to get tremors. And so you'll see, like I think in particular in this film, he often tries to hold things in his left hand. I think it was his left, or yeah, I think we'll see, left or right. But he'll hold like a pen and he'll be banging a pen, and it looks like he's just hitting a pen on the table.
Yeah.
And I think in this one, he's like holding the telephone. There's a point where he's just, and they're like, oh, you can put the telephone down. He's like, no, I think it'll be better. It's got more animated if I hold it.
Yeah.
So he was sort of, hiding it then because he knew he didn't want anyone to know. And that's why he says he often in these times he had stuff in his hand.
Yeah.
So that people didn't recognize the tremors. So yeah, can you imagine trying to break and be this big actor? And he obviously became probably the biggest actor of the time at that point when he was in Back to the Future and Family Ties.
Yeah.
And then trying to cope with the idea of you've just broke and become huge.
Yeah.
And now you've got this disease that you don't really know what that's going to mean. So incredible that he stayed so positive about it. It really is. Unbelievable. But and I think that kind of comes across in his films, doesn't it? And I think that probably comes across in this one, is that he's always happy and jolly. Feels across to that that nice guy.
Yeah. Well, I think that's especially sort of in this type of character in this film, is both sarcastic and quite cutting, but also does it in like a cheeky and charming way. So kind of gets away with it. There's a few, I think there's a few things where where he delivers a good one-liner and that is quite bad, but he does it with like a smile and a grin, so he gets away with it. And I think that was something as an impressionable youth maybe I definitely liked. So
you're associated with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's 31 in this movie.
Yeah, 93, apparently, So, he was diagnosed at 29 with Parkinson's in 91, so he would have been 31.
Yeah,
and ironically, so he's 62 now, so exactly half of his life ago. So 31 years ago, he did this film. What a tribute us to him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be listening, and glad that this is the one that we've picked out.
This is the medium Floyd, but you're right. Yeah, I remember what I looked like when I was 31, which was probably about 6 months ago, and he definitely looks a lot younger, doesn't he? He still nearly looks the same age as Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. It's ridiculous.
And so he must have been like in his mid-20s when he was doing Back to the Future 2 and 3. So I mean but he was supposed to be in high school, and that's the thing. He doesn't give that energy, but. Anyway, I mean, it's as we say, if he ever is looking for a podcast on the Concierge, there's not going to be that many. I would say, having had a scan around, not many podcasts cover this film. In
only the best,
the whole.
Some might say.
So I am really looking forward to it. It's been a few years, I think, since I've watched it.
So what was it? Do you remember the first time you saw it, or is it just you kind of like this because, like you said, when you were younger, it's kind of he was a bit cheeky and it sort of reminisced the sort of links with you at that point?
Yeah, no, that's as I say, it was on Sky all the time growing up.
So it's more just by indoctrination. That's what you're saying.
I think that there was.
It was on so often that I now like it.
It just had to be good. No, I think that's the thing. Like, but there's a quality to it, and there's I think each scene is quite. There's sort of setups that then pay off, and and I like that. Yeah. And also he's having fun at work, and he's good at it, and I think that was quite influential. And there's been a few times even in my career that I've kind of in my early career when I've looked at. So going in and being working for one of these online concierge service. I like the idea of just of knowing what people want and sort of surprising them and doing them. I think, funnily enough, I was thinking it's got the Oliver Platt connection, but I was thinking of In the Bear, the Disney show when they sort of talk about surprising someone. And in one of the later episodes, spoilers for TV, I don't care, but someone's in a Michelin star restaurant and it's in Chicago, and they sort of say, they overhear that table says, we never got deep dish pizza, so they go out and buy a deep dish pizza and then kind of change it and serve it to them at their restaurant, just so they kind of get that experience. And that really reminded me of this film, actually, where it's just like, that's just so cool to sort of go above and beyond to kind of delight someone and to make their day. And I think that's what I really liked. And I think as stupid as it sounds, may have even had an impact on where I went with my career. So
I would have loved to have seen you as a concierge. I think that you'd have sorted that suited that well. I feel like maybe
I would have been good.
Yeah, I think maybe we should think about a career change for you. This could be the next episode. We'll have a little bonus episode. Andy's career path. What should he do next?
Come down into the shop. Tell me what you need, and I'll be able to find it. But
you'll do it,
so
I like it.
No, it's fun. I mean, it is. It didn't do very well at the box office. It has slid into oblivion.
It must have done well in the back in those days, right? The back end was always important, wasn't it? So the video or the DVD sales have been big. I think about, like, say, something like Shawshank. Shawshank was just it wasn't a big blockbuster, was it, at the cinema? Yeah, everyone's seen it. Everyone thinks it's a great film because they watched it on DVD. So I feel like this would have done well on DVD sales, but I don't really remember it being in the box office.
I mean, it did 11 million. And
so not a lot at all.
So not a lot at all. No, to be honest, I don't think it did anything on the back end.
VHS.
Because
obviously,
it was
just
looking free DVD as well, right? So
it would have been VHS. So just looking at the other film, the top 5 films in '93, Sleepless in Seattle, again, questionable. And then you've got The Firm, The Fugitive, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Jurassic Park. So, they're all big, heavy hitters, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, God, you've even got Schindler's List. That was only number 9. Wow. Wow. So, hold on a minute. And then more crazy, number 18, Demolition Man. What's that doing down there? get that up. So obviously a big year.
Sounds like your top 10.
Get rid of Sleepless in Seattle. Has that got Hanks in? I feel like it has.
It has, yeah.
Dear me. I mean, it's just
pops up, doesn't it? Ruining
every podcast. How was he always? He's always there. It's unbelievable. But I don't really remember too much about this film, so I'm going to be interested to see what it's like. And just reading the blurb again, I'm like, okay, how's this going to work out? I mean, they're obviously 2 good actors, so I think it will work well, the chemistry between them. But I'm interested to see what it's actually like.
We'll put it on. We can reminisce. Hopefully, I don't decide.
I'll give you my list of things that I want, and you you can get them.
By the end of it, I would have sold the store. And
the first thing on my list is I want Michael J. Fox to watch it with me. So better get going on that one. That will take a bit longer.
Our guest this week.
Here he is. Imagine if he just came into my apartment in Australia. Then I'd probably faint. It'd be incredible.
You really should be a concierge.
You've really done it. Oh, cool. Let's get it on. Disappointing.
Oh no.
I've definitely seen this film before. But it just, I don't know. It just didn't really. It didn't feel like it held up for me. It just, and we all go through it, but it just didn't feel like it held up for me. And even with Michael J. Fox in it, I just feel like they play up to him. He's a bit more of a sort of a caricature of himself. Like he doesn't feel like it feels a bit slapsticky. But it didn't.
The physical comedy. I don't know. I guess that's what I almost think of him for.
It's funny. I have that as a question. I was going to ask you that. I was like, is that something we know Michael J. Fox as? Is he always done physical comedy? I guess he has to an extent. Because I was trying to think about Back to the Future specifically. He doesn't do much there, but it does do. He's very sort of
in the first
expressive.
One, and like with the skateboard and with even with the hoverboards and like the running over the car in the skateboard, so that then it goes into the manure and stuff. I don't know. I think of him as quite a physical actor.
Yeah, I guess physical actor, but then in Back to the Future, it's like he's doing cool stuff. Where this felt a bit more like the Three Stooges, like he's falling over a phone wire or something, or a vacuum cleaner. So
it's 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, vacuum.
Yeah, exactly.
No guess for who you are in the movie.
So you obviously, you saw this when you were, you're a bit young, when it made you thought about potentially going into the world of being a concierge, which, would have been, could have been a different world for you. Did it still bring back those memories for you?
Yeah, no, I just watched it with a big smile on my face. It's such I think it's such a happy movie. Even like the sort of the sad bits, obviously, when the girl goes to sort of the guy's house, and it's sort of supposed to be tense again because they're sort of hamming it up on the physical stuff. I don't think that scene really works that great, but for me it's still just I put it into DVD player to see whether my DVD player was multi-region, and then I started watching it and I just left it on and watched the entire thing. I was supposed to only just watch a little bit of it. I just think it just made me smile. Literally, I sat there watching it just with a smile on my face. It isn't high art. It isn't a particularly well-made film, but I just think it's really fun, and I still kind of got that. There's some really bizarre bits that I kind of noticed for the first time, which is funny. But I thought that it still really, really worked well. I think there's, they established quite early that he's a nice guy, and I think that's really important to the plot of the film, because otherwise he could just be doing everything for money. But I think he is a sympathetic character right from the start.
The opening scene is great when he's going around doing stuff, and it's like classic sort of, the 80s. I know obviously this is the 90s, but it's
an 80s movie.
Like it's set. Yeah, exactly. It feels like it's set in the 80s. And you could tell, like, it's like, all that new money, him doing all the things you'd expect him to do, and then you're right, and then all of a sudden, and he's just the concierge. He's bringing it to the guy who has all the money. Their opening scene is very good.
Who's the head of the garbage truck site? So it's old money in a way. But it's a great fake out, isn't it? Because that's the thing. You do think he's like acting as though he's the rich person, and I do think that was good. Following up, the Tiffany's they go to is the same Tiffany's that I bought all of my wife's wedding jewelry for. We went in there and
was that so that you could go in there and get a photo of yourself in there and
she wouldn't
to get signed by Michael J. Fox?
She wouldn't let me buy the giant giraffe. Actually, I tried as hard as I could to get it.
I mean, what's wrong with her? Well, I mean, come on, everyone needs a giant giraffe.
So I mean, the concierge bit, I do think there's some nice parts as well. I also think that he really missed his calling as a model maker. That model of the hotel that he has in his house, that's amazing. He should he'd be on the Legos now for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, can you imagine him on Lego Masters? How good would that be? I mean, I think Michael J. Fox. Obviously, I'm a big fan of his, and I do think he's great in this. I think Gabrielle Anwar I think she's really good in this as well. For me, it just felt a bit choppy. I wasn't sure they really built the romance enough between the two characters, Doug and Andy. And possibly a few too many side characters as well, I was thinking maybe. So, I mean, I loved it. Obviously, the concept of him being the concierge was that you could have all these different stories set up and him helping them out in different ways. But I don't know. This didn't really feel like it connected together. I don't know. It just didn't really. I don't know. It just didn't really connect with me. I don't know why. But it's like Empire of the Sun. Had all the right stuff there. Just didn't work out for some reason.
That's the ingredients, but someone needs to add a bit of salt. I think there's there are just, for me, like the perfume scene. I think it's really good because that does sort of show him being quite cynical. The ticket scene with all of the concierges,
Yeah, that's
Concierge I don't know what the
yeah.
the plural of concierge.
Yeah.
The glass picture scene where he has the picture of the hotel, I remember that, and like yeah, that is amazing. And then I do love the lift scene when they're in the lift and the guy is just at the front and it's like, did you try the buffet? He's like, yeah, very good. And she's like, you asshole. I think they're carrying him. So I would say there are standout scenes, and then there's sort of the bits in between. It does have a bit of a sort of office space, bit of a vibe to some of the other characters and stuff.
And it felt a bit almost like Weekend at Bernie's to me, because it is a bit, like you said, it is that very physical comedy, and obviously they have that big scene of the party at the like the house in the Hamptons, wherever it is. And that felt very much like Weekend at Bernie's.
That was a long scene, and like he's carrying her. Like, really, why is he carrying her? That's just a bit weird.
So there was some. I mean, the concept of them keep telling all of these people that they your mistress is here, and they were like, oh, what? And then it just kept passing that along. And that was good, and that was something I wrote down. It was just like, everyone just has mistresses in the 90s, and it's all fine. It's like everyone's happy about it.
That was the two things that I think this established very early for me in my life. The first one, that businessmen, whatever a businessman was, they all just had affairs. And the second one was eating Chinese out of a box was super cool. And for a lot of my life, I just thought, like, wow, America, they have a box of Chinese that they can eat out of. And actually, first time I went to New York, I asked to get Chinese and have a box, and it did taste really good. So
there you go.
But I don't know if all businessmen still have affairs or not. I'm not sure whether that one lasts.
I'm pretty sure that one's still up there, right? I just watched the Ashley Madison Netflix documentary, and I think those numbers were still pretty high.
It must be difficult working from home. That's sneaking people in and out.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if that's made it harder. Yeah, that's probably why maybe hotels are doing well again.
Well, I think they did say the amount of people having a failed divorce or something did actually go down during COVID. I think.
Oh, really?
Which is interesting. Obviously, a lot of people then also just had to live with each other. But I mean, I think that for me, it kind of runs a bit into the problem of a lot of these old rom-coms where she is so badly drawn as a character. You're just kind of like, why does he like her? Like, why are we rooting for her at all? She just doesn't seem like a very nice person, and not a very nice person to him. But she's pretty, so therefore we're supposed to like. And that's the thing. It is definitely a problem with the writing of the female characters in a lot of these old rom-coms that are just they just didn't bother.
Yeah, and I think they just didn't build like their romance much. Like, it didn't have much backstory or anything. It was like he sort of sees her, he likes her, and then she's obviously doing other stuff, and she just doesn't seem too fast. And then all of a sudden, it didn't really seem like there was any like sexual tension or anything there. It didn't really. Yeah, so I didn't think they really built the romance. So I think that's where it made it difficult for me. Like you said, it's like, well, why does he want her and why does she want him? It didn't feel like they really covered that.
Well, the script, they do it in a very sort of scripted way in the perfume scene. It's like, oh, I keep asking you out and you keep saying no. Like, why are you seeing someone? I bet you he's married. And then, obviously, like, he knows. So they try and make out like, like he has been asking her out a lot. But again, you could put in a couple of scenes where it's just like catching her eye, or her like smiling at something that he does, or like that he's funny, or like, they could definitely build that up more for sure.
I think they don't really and I think that's for me why I didn't really get into it, because I just didn't really buy that.
Well, because they almost do that when they then go on the date, when like after the day and he drops her at the restaurant. I think that scene, they're really good together and they have chemistry, and like they're talking about when they lost their virginity. I love the fact that he says Mateus rosé wine, because actually my wife really got into that wine for a little while. It's like bad Portuguese wine, and she really got into it for a little while. So that was a nice shout out. but then like she's dancing with the guy, and then he does something that's just nice for it. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I think in that scene they really do establish. But obviously that's sort of, you know, 9/10
into the film
of the way through. So and then it's pure 80s that they get married at the end. You're just like, why would you get why? Like, it's supposed to be the amount of time it takes for the business plan to have reached the guy. So it's like 3 days, and they've gone out and got married. You're like, why? Yeah. It's just so funny that
green card. One of them needed a green card.
Why would you get married at the end of it? There is no need at all for them to have got married. And you're like,
that's
and
so
this is
funny.
literally like a week afterwards. It's so, I mean, that was kind of the 80s. Like, well, you know, that shows that they're together. It's because they got married. You're like, this is just, it's just weird.
God, it is, isn't it? You're right. That's such a weird thing to think about now, but that's exactly what would happen. Yeah. It's like the Disney effect, isn't it? It all just sort of,
it's like Shakespeare. Okay, it's a comedy, ends in a wedding, and you're like, no, I feel like we should have moved on by then.
Yeah, definitely should have done. Yeah, I think that was the thing I said. Yeah, it does seem very 80s. What did you think about like the angles of the filming? I know obviously Michael J. Fox isn't the tallest person, but it felt like they were like filming right behind his shoulder, like really low. It just felt weird.
Yeah.
Like it was noticeable that I was like, when I was watching it, I was thinking, this feels different to normal films I watch now. It felt a bit strange. Like, even it didn't feel the same as Back to the Future. So I was like, I don't know. Did you notice anything with that?
No, I think they do shoot it from his eye line. And then also like they obviously had a helicopter for a little bit of the shoot, because then they did like loads of sweeping helicopter shots and nothing in between. So I think that's I think it's trying to so you notice the eye line now since you're Jimbo.
There you go.
You're starting to do it.
That one was definitely, I think this felt really noticeable to me. I don't know if it's because obviously Michael J. Fox probably isn't that tall, so the differential was quite large as well. It felt like everyone was really looking down on him and he was really looking up, and I was like, what's going on here? Why is this film weird?
You know, it's increasing his alienation from the business world that he wants to be a part of. He is not a good negotiator. Just to be set in his first pitch is like, oh, I've only got a month, and then I lose this. You're like, I'm not sure I would tell the person that is going to give me money that. And then he's like, have you got a lawyer? No, I'll just use one of mine. Again, if you're doing a deal with someone, don't use their lawyers.
Definitely don't. No, no, that was just Michael J. Fox being nice, isn't it? He just is. And I still can't believe he's 31 in this film. It's madness to think that he's 31.
Yeah.
How did you describe it to the aliens?
Well, I said, a man has a hard time choosing between having a better place to work and being with the woman he loves for the rest of his life. I feel like actually the choice was a pretty easy choice, wasn't it? It's just kind of like, do I have this, or could I actually just do something else?
Well, exactly. It's either, I mean, obviously we don't catch up with him like 10 years later when he's married and he's sitting there thinking, God, why didn't I choose the hotel?
still a bellhop.
What have I done? Okay.
What did he have?
I had, can a concierge, brackets, look it up, just in case they don't know what concierge is. Can a concierge charm his way to happiness, or will his dream hotel become a heartbreak hotel?
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
So, that was more just literally what they should have had on the box.
That's more on the DVD. The aliens will look at the DVD with that white up and be like, nice son. Nice son.
Yeah, and it'll be say by Kev, and they'll be like, the guy on the podcast. Great.
Longplay
Get this one on. I did think, I remember watching this, and I was thinking, because as I was watching it, thinking, it's not as good as I remember. And there's so many good Michael J. Fox films, and I was thinking, why has he picked this one? And then I was wondering, have you only picked this film because when you were younger, his name is Andy, and you were thinking, this could be me. I could be this guy. This guy is super nice and cool. And
no, his name is Doug. Her name is Andy. So,
oh, of course, yeah. Sorry, her name is Andy.
So no,
yeah,
I didn't identify with her as the character.
Well, you know, maybe
52%. No, it's yeah, it's. But
the other thing I was thinking that in the 80s, it seemed to be that everyone was paid on the volume of what they use. So all the suits are like super big. Because I feel like tailors were billing on the volume of material that they used. It's like everyone is wearing a suit about 4 times too big.
It's all about the shoulder pads. You know, it's the triangle.
That is true. Yes,
the triangle look, I think. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Mate, I mean, you know so much about the fashion in the 80s.
I'm just looking at what you're wearing. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's true. It's very fashionable in Australia at the moment.
What I did like, so the guy who he gets the jewelry for at the beginning, and obviously like the mafioso guys go and play the violin for. That guy's 45 in this film, which is the same age as I will be in a week's time. And I was like, wow,
that could be you.
That guy, first of all, has way more body hair than me, and secondly, like, do I look that old? I'm not sure that.
I think that guy at that moment will have more body hair than you'll have in your entire life.
Yeah, exactly. Including all the hair on my head. If you took all of the hair that I've ever had cut off from the haircut, I think.
It's weird, isn't it? Because you think, because obviously Michael J. Fox is 31. It doesn't look like there's a 14-year different doesn't really look like that, does it?
He looks so old. He just looks.
Yeah, he does look old.
I think maybe like a lot of people say like in the 80s and 90s when you look at people who were 40, they just seemed a lot older than people now.
Oh, definitely than now. Yeah, I think people look after themselves a lot more now, don't they? And obviously, I think we said sometimes there's more enhancements as well.
Did you notice the bit with the Hasidic Jews running down the street?
I think I did. What? Yeah.
So it was when they're going back to Andy's in the car, and he pulls in, and then this Hasidic Jews are chasing someone, and they say, "Make fun of our hats, will you? Tell us we don't have the lowest prices in town." And they just like there's a track and they like follow it, and then they're out, and then they go up to her apartment. I was like, that's the most.
What is going on? Didn't we have this issue with one of the other films? There's just like loads of Jewish references in all of these films.
It just does that tell us that we're back in New York? I don't know. I was just like, it's a bit like, when you have that exercise where you're watching a video and you're counting how many times they pass the basketball, and then someone walks into the middle and like waves at you and then walks out and you don't notice it. Maybe that was the thing. They put it in there and they're like, no one's going to notice this. It'll be fine. But it's just so bizarre. You're just like, what is going on there?
That is random.
That was New York.
The 80s. Yeah, just thinking, let's fill it in. Fill it with a few more scenes. This seems like a good idea.
Also, a rare New York film that doesn't have the Twin Towers in them. I was looking out for it, and that used to be the way that like now if you watch a lot of movies in the 90s, it's actually sort of jarring to see the Twin Towers in them. But they didn't. They flew that helicopter all over the shop. But obviously,
but not
not downtown, not in the financial district. So.
Well, obviously, they had so many other like random shots to get. So
exactly.
Didn't have time to get that.
When he's going out to the Hamptons, what I love is that they do the voiceover of what they're talking about in the helicopter, but clearly they can't film inside the helicopter because they don't have like cameras that can do that. So they're just focused on the helicopter and the dialogue's running over the top of it, but they don't want to film inside it. I thought, it's so. It's just so funny.
Oh, how things have changed now. You think about now where you just have all the cameras in a car.
Yeah, we just have a drone. And you can just do it.
I mean, imagine like how terrible Fast and the Furious would be if it did have cameras in the cars as well. I mean, imagine if it was just a car moving along and you were just hearing Vin Diesel say family as narration.
I live. What is
It'd be
that?
even worse.
I always live the next quarter mile down the road. That's as far as I live, or something like that. I don't know. Never seen one of them.
God, he's such a bad actor, isn't he? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so entitled by the sounds of it.
There was a side note. There was a van yesterday that had Van Diesel, like as a stencil on it, and my daughter said, "Why is so that van's a diesel, like that? Why is it a diesel?" Because she thinks that diesel's really bad. Well, I mean, it is really bad for the environment. So she's very anti anything that's diesel. And I had to explain and say, well, no, that's actually like the name. It's Vin Diesel is the name of an actor, so they're just saying the van's that name. And she's like, well, what's he done? Like, what films am I going to see him in? And I was like, oh, there won't be any that you've seen him in and stuff.
Surely.
And then we've watched The Pacifier, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, actually, you have seen him in a film, and you really liked it. So
obviously, she didn't remember him because he's a terrible actor, so that makes sense.
I was just thinking, like, oh, there's no films that. Oh no, actually, yeah.
I mean, all his other films. Oh well, I guess. Yeah, well, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, but yeah, it's hard to tell it's him, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, Triple X. Is it Triple X?
Triple X. Yeah,
the one where he's the alien who's blind. Yeah. My wife really likes that film. We've watched that. Several times.
He had actually at the start. I mean, this is gone a weird route off from Michael J. Fox and Vin Diesel. I'm not quite sure we've made that detail, but what was it was one of his first films that he did. And I remember watching it and thinking, oh, this is actually really good. And I actually thought he was actually quite good in it. The Chronicles of Riddick. I actually quite like that film. What it was a clever idea. And then I don't know what happened after that. He just got a bit. He's obviously just went into Fast and Furious, and it just went a bit crazy from there, didn't it? But,
well, he's done all right for it, I would say.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, fair enough. People watch it, and exactly the same as like Adam Sandler or I guess Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Keanu's done a bit more Bennett, but.
Well, just as in none of them are really good actors, are they? And they've done well.
Well, we would argue that out in other ones, but like
I'm a big Keanu fan.
And Keanu.
You say
Vin doesn't he doesn't pop up in another. So for anyone listening to this podcast, that's all the Vin Diesel content you're going to get this series. Just so you know.
Well, I'm going to try and bring it in every pod.
How does this be a new category? How does this film?
I'll just do. I'll do little Easter eggs for Vin Diesel fans. I'll just bring in Vin Diesel lines and see if you realise. At one point, I'll just be, "I am Groot," and you're like, "What? Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Sorry, what was that?"
That's his number one line. Was there anything that you would swap over genre wise then to improve? How would you improve it if you didn't like it?
It's a difficult one because it is sort of slapsticky, isn't it? Like it's very physical. So I did think, maybe musical. You could just ham it up one more gear into a musical. That was one thing I thought, because then obviously it's based in the hotel, so it's quite easy to have big sort of musical numbers and things. So that was the only thing for me. Well, just as you've got different, because you've got different levels. So you've got the stairs and stuff.
Or a mass shootout.
Well, I mean, come on, it's like Beauty and the Beast classic, right in the hotel. What about you?
I thought they could, a bit more 80s music just generally. I feel like they could have
always.
They could have just kind of put more music over the top of it and just hammed it up. Go that extra yard, I think. So,
yeah, absolutely. Which character did you most identify with then?
Yeah, I see myself as Doug, to be honest with you. Just the sort of witty one-liners and the sort of sarcasm and stuff. I actually don't really know how much this film has influenced me and my character. Do I recognize myself in him, or has he actually done it, like completely set my character together? I don't know. It's
is it art imitated life, or is it life imitated art? Which way around is it?
It's exactly that.
I didn't really have anyone that I really thought I really connected with.
Milton.
And that was,
I thought,
Milton.
It's such a funny character.
No, I mean, the two main characters
167 pieces. One.
They did have like some good side characters. Like the characters that weren't there, I thought were good. And then I think that's actually one of my favorite lines I've got in there is when he's talking to the lady in the like the souvenir shop, and he's just chatting to her, and he's like trying to get, he's like, come on, I need something done quickly, and she's like taking really long time and talking really slowly, and she says, oh yeah, I was married in 1942. And he's like, yeah, I think I read that in the library. And he's just like, even when he's in a rush, you still got time for that little witty one-liner.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, she gives him the wrong change, and she's like, oh, you know why I did that? And he's like, because you're trying to make $50 off me.
yeah, you're trying to make money out of me for sure. Yeah. Did you have any other good lines?
Yeah, I mean, it's staying on the other characters. I think it's quite funny. The other guy, when he's like, oh, I'm enjoying positive humor today, and he says, oh, why is the new whip coming? I was like, again, you're just a bit like, that's a bit jarring.
Yeah, a bit weird.
I do think, she says to him, oh, do you want to dance with me or Christian? And he says, well, Christian's not here. And I think that I completely think that's a line that I would deliver.
I was just about to say that sounds like an Andy line.
Yeah, exactly. And I've no idea whether I would have done that or I only would have done that because of this. And then I do think I think it's just a really good line when he's talking about, oh well, you're with someone who's married, and she says, you don't know him like I do, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm sure, like him and his wife are estranged, and he really wants to leave, and you see the little boy in him, and it describes it, and her face just falls, and she just says, boy, you mean? And it's like, yeah, but am I wrong? And that is, again, I'm just like, he's like, he completely nails it, and he's just like, I'm just telling you, like, this is
he basically is like a madam, and he works in a brothel, so everyone there is having affairs, so he knows exactly what it's like. He's like, exactly, I've seen the story happen.
And then when he tells him on the phone like what to say to win her back, and I still I'm like, oh no, he's gone too far now. He's like, that's selling your soul, and like, oh no, just make it all about Andy, and like, this is our play. You're like, oh no, you shouldn't have, can't go that far.
Shouldn't give great.
No, some all very positive 3-star reviews. Like comedy about a big Apple dreamer. If you're a Michael J. Fox fan, go see the movie. What I like to feel like is they say go see the movie as though it's still in the cinema, and that's on Amazon, which didn't exist in 1991. So maybe it's still playing somewhere.
I like it,
and it's
I hope so.
Yeah. Funny you should say that. What you just said, because one of the reviews was, I liked it. 3 stars.
Oh, there you go.
That was it.
I liked it.
I liked it.
See, this is perfect. That is a 3-star review. That's the kind of thing that you should have. I mean, obviously, it's not great for our pod, but that is a 3-star review.
I liked it.
So,
and then one I will read the entire thing. I always thought Gabrielle Anwar was cute, and having Mike Fox, who calls him Mike Fox, play the concierge of a ritzy hotel. He innocently woos a woman who deserves him, but she herself is playing around with a rich man, and Mike has to juggle work and repetitive subjects to his dreams of opening a new hotel and a dwindling development on the river. Will he continue with the dream or drool and wish the girl will go for him? Nice. I feel like they really put some effort in that. It's a bit of a mixed thing as far as actual comprehension's concerned, but
it's detailed though.
They do it.
I think I was a little bit put off by the
Mike Fox.
I think that's sort of that doesn't sit well, but the rest of it's okay. I'll allow it.
Allow it. And then this is one of my favorite Michael J. Fox movies. For the most part, it plays perfectly, but scenes 6, 7, and 8 are not playable. Tricky part being that the DV won't play past those scenes unless I go to the menu and select scene 9. It was a bit of a sad day, but I decided it was still worth keeping since I can still enjoy most of it. I feel like if you are willing to sacrifice 3 scenes and you're still going for it, I think it's more than a 3-star movie. I think if I had a DVD and there were 3 scenes that I couldn't play, I'm getting rid of that DVD. But no, they're going for
yeah,
it.
you would have thought, like, not in a normal world, or certainly nowadays, that would be a 1-star review, and it would be Amazon's awful. This DVD doesn't work. I need a replacement.
Yeah.
Whereas, they've just gone. Look at that. They're as positive as Michael J. Fox. They're like, I've got access to 6 of the scenes, and they're good, and I'm happy with those. So I'll stick with what I've got.
I can just, I'm just 3 down. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, right? He might then watch 7, 8, 9 and think, actually, I didn't like those scenes. I don't like this film as much now. So if he likes 1 to 6, maybe you cut it off when it's working.
Yeah, I think at least one of them is actually the scene at the house in the Hamptons, which I think is the worst scene. So
yeah,
maybe it works well. Better or worse if it came out today?
Definitely worse, I would say.
How you think?
Yeah. I think so. This would be a Netflix movie with like 2 people that you've never heard of before, or like it would be like an ABC movie or something. Like one of those like random Christmas ones that they have on that has no one on and no one that you know in them.
I mean, it only did 11 million in the box office, so I think even streaming it would probably do better. I think you get it with just a little bit of an update for the technology and for
better script.
I think the story could. Yeah, with a bit of
concept is good.
Yeah,
I like the concept. I like Michael J. Fox. I like Gabriel Anwar. I thought they were all good.
Yeah,
and the concept of him dealing with lots of different side stories, I just think they don't really, stitch it together perfectly very well for me. I think the writing could be a bit tighter, and that would make this film a lot better.
Yeah, I think there's like a way at the edges. There's a class story, isn't there? There's a bit like he's him and Gabriel Anwar and sort of the underlings and Then I mean the whole singing bit is just a bit bizarre as well. But and then it's like coming into the big finance and like how people operate differently and they don't care and stuff like that. So, yeah.
And that's as we've covered off in The Big Short, standard.
Yeah, exactly.
That hasn't changed.
20 years later. I mean, what a twist at the end. Who saw that coming as well?
I know. Did not see that coming.
This guy who's in way more of the film than he deserves to be, it turns out to be important. Who would have seen that coming?
Did not see that coming. Yeah, random.
Shevin called me Sparky for 10 years. It's nice. What did you go for the algo?
Yeah. So I already said obviously a little bit like Weekend at Bernie's, that sort of came in, but the main one for me was like the Grand Budapest Hotel. That's where I thought.
Yeah, really?
Well, just because you've got a lot of the physical side still. Obviously the tones are very different, but it's set in a hotel. There's a lot of physical like moving around and jokey stuff. So that's why I went with that. What did the algo say?
You know what? The algo didn't even bother. Didn't even.
I just gave up, so I don't understand.
It didn't even have films that it was like. And that's the first time I've ever seen it. But for some reason,
really?
there's no just on the page.
Had a day off.
There's just no films that are like.
I feel like I want to give them a point for that. I'm like, we're having a day off.
No, I think that's another one
loss.
where you're like, you just don't even know, and that's why
we are just streaming away aren't we, now.
That's like what's that? That's 5 in a row that we've had. So,
oh wow, we're on fire, as you'd say in NBA Jam.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So where was it going to sit on the list then? Is it going to stay where it is? Is it going to move up? Where is it going?
No. So I think it can fall down to the next available slot based on obviously everything else. So it ends up at 72. Which I think is I think that's okay. 71 is still open. But it's still actually above Iron Man 3. I still like it. I just think, it just made me happy.
Above Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
Wow.
Still was. I
don't know what to do about that. That's information I didn't need.
I was literally just smiling all the way through. I just think it's a happy film. Like it's inconsequential. There's no drama in it. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm with you on that. That is why I like the 80s so much.
Yeah.
Is that so many of the films are just happy films. They don't worry about trying to be too clever or whatever. It's just We're going to try and tell you a happy story, and all the music's generally happy. So all the music in the background's happy. Yeah,
and then ends in a wedding. So
I'll give you that. And it always ends in a wedding. Sadly, I'm now. When you said that, I was suddenly thinking about all the 80s films on my list and thinking, God, how many of them do they get married in it? Probably about 80-90%. So, yeah.
How about you then?
The ones at the top.
I presume, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm terrified to ask.
Yeah.
If how much did you not enjoy this?
It's not. I mean, obviously, I do think the main characters were good, and I like them. I think, and obviously Michael J. Fox. I do love Michael J. Fox, but I just think maybe the writing, the script wasn't just as good as it could have been. So it went in the okay section for me. So at number 20.
Okay. Right.
So below Free Jack and above Escape to Victory. So,
wow, that's those three films together.
Yeah,
that'd be a weekend.
Yeah, it'd be a challenge, I think, to get through all of that.
Wow, that's that brings us to a close. As for next week, lots of good quotes to choose from. I'm just going to go with. Would you like to know the probability of her using it against you? It's high. It's very high.
Yeah,
I think most people will be able to guess from there, especially if they're watching this. As always, you can find us on Instagram, longplay.video, where you can see what's coming up in coming weeks, and you can also see all of the lists on longplay.video. Thanks to Tom Evans for the theme song, and we'll see you next week.